everyone, and welcome back to the DLC Anxiety YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video and turn on the bell notification just so you can be notified when the next videos will drop. Today we're going to be discussing when Alessia Cara, who's a fantastic musician, popped over on Instagram for a chat with me on the live. We discussed all things the music industry and how mental health is affecting people within the industry and also people around Alessia's age. It was fantastic speaking to Alessia, and we're going to tackle the question that one of the community members asked Alessia, which was what advice and tips would you give to someone who's going through anxiety, and specifically what advice would you give that worked for you? So let's dive into it and have a look. Is if you could give any advice to someone who struggles with anxiety specifically, what would it be and what helps you in times of anxiety?
If there's anything I could say, again, I think going back to the strength and comfort in numbers, I would say, you know, because we're in our own heads and we're living our own lives, it's so easy for us to fall into the mindset of, you know, we're the only person struggling with this particular feeling, or I know that when I go through it, or I have times of like...
And I know I can really relate to that. When I started going through an anxiety disorder, at the start, all these physical sensations, these really crazy, irrational thoughts I was getting at the time, I thought that I was the only person going through this, and I didn't know that there were so many other people that could relate to this journey. So it's really interesting that Alessia's brought that up.
What I now know is derealization and experiencing that, or, you know, anxiety or panic attacks. I always feel like, oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. This is not normal. Something is wrong. I'm dying, you know, and it's very easy to feel that way. And so I would tell anyone who's struggling that there are 1 in 4 people actually that struggle with this, and you're not alone.
And now, unfortunately, due to the coronavirus pandemic, they're saying that the figure could be 1 in 3, maybe 1 in 2 going forward. So people need to know that they're not alone and that the help and support is there.
Especially in this time that we're going through, give yourself some slack. This is, you know, something that none of us have ever gone through in our lifetime. And it's abnormal and it's scary, and that can definitely amplify those feelings of anxiety. And you're not alone. You're not crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. You just have to figure it out. And we're human beings. It's normal to feel these things, and they're not always pleasant. They're actually very unpleasant and scary, but there are people there with you that are going through it. And I know many people who have gone through it and are...
And just talking about them unpleasant feelings, I remember shortness of breath. I really thought there was something really wrong at the time. I'd never experienced this before. The only time I'd experienced shortness of breath was from doing exercise. So to be sat in an office and then suddenly get shortness of breath, immediately you think there's something completely wrong. But it's the psychoeducation about learning behind the symptoms that can be really comforting in helping you on your anxiety journey.
Are looking at it on the other side and have made it out. So there is hope, and I think, you know, there's just comfort in knowing that, for me anyway. So I hope it helps you too.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And would you say, have you tried... And as you all know, I went through a panic disorder and I've come out on the other side. I no longer deal with panic attacks when I was dealing with them 2, 3, maybe 4 times a day. My story isn't a singular story. There's so many people within the anxiety community that have reached recovery. Recovery is not a linear path. There's going to be humps in the road. But anxiety is a very treatable condition, so it's just about speaking up, getting the right help. Like breathing techniques when you're anxious, or meditation or mindfulness. Have you ever looked into exercise, for example? So the reason that I raised breathing techniques is because deep belly breathing was one of the main things that helped me. Especially when I was in an office environment, I could do these deep belly breathing techniques, and they'd really get me from the fight or flight response to a calming response within like 30 seconds to a minute. Now we know when we're anxious, we breathe incorrectly. We take short, shallow breaths. So learning about deep belly breathing and how useful that can be for anxiety was really helpful for me. And that helps.
Yeah, I think I've done meditation. I've tried that. Specifically, mindfulness meditation has been pretty helpful. It's strange because I'm still kind of in the thick of it, so I'm still, trial and erroring, like what works and what doesn't. But I think for me,
and as we know, mindfulness, it's not about not thinking these irrational thoughts. It's about being present in the moment. When our mind wanders, it's about bringing the attention and focus back to the moment. It's okay to have these irrational thoughts. You see them as almost like clouds in the sky. When you're looking at the sky and you see the clouds passing, acknowledge that the clouds are there, but you're still focusing on the blue sky.
If it's at nighttime, I typically struggle a lot at night. And so what I do is I turn on the lights. I think being in the dark, you're sort of forced to just think about things. So what I do is turn on the lights and look at everything around me and look at objects and describe them to myself in my head. That really helps ground me. Another technique I do is like looking at something square, like a TV screen or a picture frame, and sort of doing like a breathing thing. So you breathe in, hold it, breathe out, hold it. And you just keep doing that really slowly. Put your hands on your abdomen and sort of feel your breath through your stomach. That's very grounding and very helpful for me, but I think everybody's different, so you can find out.
That's wonderful, and that's really true in what you said, especially when you're going through anxiety or an anxiety disorder. It's all about getting as much information and as many tools as you can, and just trial and error, like you said. What great tips Alessia shared with us. And personally for myself, a lot of them tips work for me, which is fantastic. The mindfulness, the deep breathing exercises, bringing the attention back to the here and now were all things that really helped me when my anxiety levels were high. What tips helped you? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, turn on the bell notification just so you know when the next video is dropping. So that's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.